Welcome to this video where we're going to talk about awareness stages. So in this video, I'm going to explain every single awareness stage there is. I'm going to show you exactly how to target each and every awareness stage. So if you are not familiar with the 5 awareness stages, basically the idea is that your customer at stage 1 needs a completely different message than your customer at stage 5. I'm going to show you exactly all 5 in a minute, but it's just important for you to know that your messaging needs to change compared to where your customer are in their customer journey. So let's just get right into it. Before we do get into it, I just want to say that everything I'm going to cover in this video is based on 5 years of experience and more than 100 million euros in revenue through e-commerce stores for the past few years. So if we just take a look at our Meta Business Manager here, so Complex Solutions, for the past 2 years, so March 23, 2024 until April 22nd, 2026, we have spent for our clients almost 10 million euros and generated 121 million euros in sales for our clients and for our own brands. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. The first thing that I want to touch on is why most ads don't convert. And the problem isn't actually your creative, your budget, or your targeting. You're just speaking the wrong language to the wrong person at the wrong time. What you need to understand is that every customer sits somewhere on an awareness journey. Your ad needs to meet them exactly at that point in their journey. So if we take a look at the 5 awareness stages here, just very quickly, we have the coldest audience that basically doesn't know they have a problem, to the warmest audiences that just need a nudge to buy. So the unaware stage, well, they don't know that they have a problem, or the problem even exists in their life, or that they have a desire to buy your product. Then we have the problemware, which feels the pain, but they don't know any solution to their problem. Then we have the solution aware. Makes sense. Those are the people that have a problem and they're also aware that there is a solution on the market. Then we have the product aware, which knows you, but they're not convinced about your specific product yet. And then we have the most aware, which is basically they want the product, but they need a little bit of a nudge to actually complete the purchase. Of course, the 5th awareness stage, most aware, is the ready to buy audience. So they are very easy to convert, whereas the unaware are the coldest audience that you can target, and they are also the hardest one to convert. So let's take a look at the unaware stage first. As I mentioned before, it's the coldest audience. They don't know that they have a problem yet. And it's also the largest potential audience, which also means that it's the hardest to convert. So it might be that this is where you're going to create the most amount of revenue if you crack it, but it's also going to be the most difficult one to crack. So one thing that is very important here is that when it comes to the unaware, I would never mention your product. I would earn the attention first. And I would hook with a relatable scenario or an uncomfortable truth. So an example here for a supplement brand could be why most people over 30 wake up tired no matter how they sleep or how much they sleep. So, and then we have a second example over here, why your skin looks worse in your 30s even when you're doing everything right, which could be for a skincare brand. So if we take a look at these 2 examples, they don't mention any product, but they do either tap into a relatable scenario or an uncomfortable truth. I have an ad example down here, which basically says the quiet problem nobody checks at night. This does have a fan here, so ideally if we want it to be fully unaware, we should probably remove the fan, but this also works as an unaware ad here. So the quiet ad problem nobody checks at night opens a curiosity loop about a problem the reader doesn't feel yet. No pain named, no solution pitched, just a new style revealed that makes you stop scrolling. So this is a good example of how to create an unaware ad that basically doesn't mention the product, it doesn't mention the problem itself, so it kind of creates this open curiosity loop at the reader's side. And then from here, you'd either lead them directly to a product page, but for example, for this one, it might be better to lead them to a listicle or an advertorial that actually explains what the hook is about, just to make sure that there is congruity through basically what they're seeing and expecting from the ad, but also what they're going to land on whatever page you're sending them to, basically. Then we have the problem aware. So they know something is wrong, they don't know what to do about it yet, or they haven't thought about doing something about it yet. This type of awareness stage is highly receptive to educational content, and the best way to go about it is actually validate the problem, position your brand as a guide, not a product, and then from there you can actually take them from guiding them, educating them, inspiring them, and then pitch a solution later down the line, or in a listicle or an editorial. Or you can also just do it, of course, in a video ad. Example 1 here, struggling to fall asleep even when you're exhausted. Here's what is actually happening. So again, okay, for people that are struggling to fall asleep even though they're exhausted, so that's the problem, here's what is actually happening. They're not feeling like they're being sold, they're feeling like they're being educated. Again, we want educational content at this point. Or if your energy crashes every afternoon, it's probably not your sleep. People, they think, it's not my sleep, that's the only thing I thought it could be, I needed more sleep. And then, of course, at some point we want to pitch that we have a health or nutrition brand. I've also found an example here. So this is a wrinkle cream skincare ad. Calls out the pain directly, no product page, no brand name, just a headline that makes the viewer stop and say, wait, is my cream actually working? So why your wrinkle cream is trash, the scientific reasons why your cream doesn't help. That opens again curiosity and think, okay, I'm not being sold anything, I'm actually going to learn something, I'm getting educated. Moving on to the solution aware. So this is where we're beginning to warm up the audience, or getting into the audience types that are a bit warmer. So they know that solution exists, they also are comparing options. This is where most listicles and advertorials live. But at this point, we want to guide them toward our solution category while building belief. Example 1 could be 3 ways people are fixing poor sleep in 2025 and why 2 of them don't last. Second example, the difference between a 30 euro and a 30 or 300 euro solution to back pain and when each makes sense. And an example down here, I found an ad. So this is a tower kitchen helper, educates the viewer on what the solution category is and why it works. Annotated callouts build belief in the solution before brand becomes the question. So this is of course just a very normal and standard benefit or USP ad, but it fits the purpose either way. All right, moving to the product aware. This is where we're beginning to get the lower CPAs or the lower CACs. We're going to get a higher ROAS at these stages, especially from solution aware until most aware. But product aware, they know you exist, but they're just not convinced yet. So at this point, we want to address objections head on, social proof, comparisons, specifics. This is basically where you want to have your conversion content, and most static ads live at this point because we can easily convey a very simple message, whether it be social proof, comparison, specific, just overall USPs or benefits about a product. So example 1, why 40,000 people chose SoSleep, one of my old e-commerce brands, over melatonin. So this is just a direct comparison where we're basically saying why are people choosing to buy our product compared to another product on the market that fixed the same problem. So SoSleep, we sold weighted blankets. In example 2, we get asked this every day, how is this different from what I already tried? Again, just handling objections. And basically found an ad here as well, protein works collagen whey, specific brand product with a clear benefit promise, feature callouts and a Trustpilot 4.7 rating. So the viewer already knows the protein shakes exist. This ad basically just closes the decision on this brand. So very simple, very product focused, nothing too out of the ordinary, but it gets the job done when people, they just need a notch to actually get converted. Then we have the most aware. So this is where they basically want the product. It's not specific to your product yet, but they want this product. So we just need to remove the last barrier, whether it's price, or they just don't feel the urgency to buy it yet, or it's just simplicity. So at this point, we don't want to educate anymore. We just want to close the sale. 2 examples here, you've seen this before. Here's 20% off to finally try it, or still thinking about it, free shipping ends tonight. A very, very good example of an ad here is the AG1. So this basically just says, get your free welcome kit now, and it just positions all the products. So it's basically says, hey, you can get free gifts if you actually order your welcome kit right now. So this is a very, very simple and standard way of doing an offer ad. The thing is, most brands, they would only run these types of ads, which means at some point they run out of people that are ready to buy, and then at the end they don't have any more people to target. So, and again, I just wanted to touch more upon this, but the mistake that most brands make is that 80% of their budget goes toward stage 4 and 5, so these 2 here, which is one of the biggest mistakes that you will be doing with your ads, because stage 1 to 3 are where you build the audience that feeds into everything else. So if you don't have ads for awareness stage, or for the most unaware, the product aware, or the solution aware, if you don't have for here, the first one, unaware, problem aware, or the solution aware, then at some point you're going to run out of people to target with your offer ads. So stage 4 and 5, that's where the budget goes, retargeting, conversion creative, discount offers, easy to justify because the ROAS shows up quickly. Whereas stage 1 to 3, that's where the audience is built. So you will be starving the top because it kills the bottom. So you just don't see it until 3 months later when stage 4 and 5 run out of fuel. So that is why some brands, they can run ads for, let's say, 3, 4, even 5 months with great results, and then from one day to the other, the performance just tanks and there's nothing to do about it. That is because at that moment, they've only been running ads to people that are ready to buy right now without educating or inspiring new people to get into the funnel and buy the product later on. So the framework is basically match the message to the mindset. So each stage needs different creatives, different hooks, and different proof. So you cannot just have one ad creative type to do all 5 jobs. So we need to have ads for the unaware, the problem, the solution, the product, and the purchase kind of stage. So different creative per stage. A hook that works at stage 1 will definitely kill an ad at stage 4. Different proof and different budget splits. So we ideally want to feed the top funnel. So this is the unaware stage and the problem aware stage. These 2 awareness stages should actually have most of the budget, because we don't need as much budget when it comes to our most aware audience that are easy to convert with a high ROAS and lower CPAs. So we should never spend most of our budget at that point, because it's very easy to get the purchases either way, and we're just going to inflate our ROAS. And the result, if we do that, is that brands that map creative to awareness stages, they spend less to acquire the same customer. They're not fighting the algorithm, they're basically working with human psychology, and the funnel fills itself when the right message hits the right person. So if you do want us to map your creative against these 5 awareness stages, then this is actually one of the first audits we run on every new client account, and we'll show you exactly where the gaps are and which stage is starving the rest of your funnel. Click the link below this video, head to our landing page, and you will be able to book a call directly with me or my partner, and we'll show you exactly which awareness stages you're missing and which are basically over attributing or generating an inflated ROAS at this point. Without further ado, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll look forward to seeing you on my next video.